clearly, if you think about the world that we live in, it all necessitates almost everybody to take risks. And you can call it calculated risks or otherwise. People have a tendency to shy away from risk-taking because of the fact that it's associated with failure. And obviously we cannot make failure a habit. So taking risks would necessarily mean operating out of your comfort zone or safety net. Would it be right to force people to operate out of their comfort zone all the time? And then how do you balance risk-taking and failure in a corporate world?
See, if one takes a longer stride than the fellow travelers, it gets termed as risk. If one takes a leap, that'll get termed as weird. If one takes a big leap over a chasm that you cannot fathom, then that's called a crazy leap. But without a longer stride, without a leap, and without a crazy leap, nothing significant has ever been done by any human being. But of course, there is also something called as fatal leap. Because we must decide whether we want to do a venture or an adventure or an exploration or a fatal leap. Well, what one person thinks is an adventure, somebody thinks is madness. What one person thinks is risk-taking, another person looks it as not good enough for where we are. So these are all different opinions and different ways of looking at things. For one who is competent at a certain level, what is effortless, if another man tries to do the same thing, he will break himself down.
Sure.
So it depends on the nature of the industry, the nature of the people who are running it. For many people, it may be best to just sustain themselves where they are. If they attempt something big risk, they will crack up. Not everybody is made for that. So trying to encourage a culture of risk-taking could be dangerous. First of all, I don't want anybody to look at it as, I'm a risk-taker or not. And I see this kind of demographic division happening in the corporate thing. These are risk-takers, these are not risk-takers. And what I see is, something needs to be done. Do you go all out and do it, or do you do it with a hold back? Depends on the times in which you are in, what stage of development are you are in, as an individual and as a business,
Sure.
as an organization. So at certain stages you have to jump maybe. At certain stages when things are going well, you want to have a smooth sailing because there may be many internal things to fix. When a large organization is functioning, there are 1,000 things inside, riggings to be fixed all the time. If you don't fix those riggings, if you don't fix your sails properly and suddenly you go into a wild sea, that'll be foolish. But who is to decide this? Well, this is the business of the captain. That is why he is paid, that is why he is honored, and that's why he is hung. If things go well, he's honored, if things don't go well, he's hung. Leadership comes with these things. Leadership doesn't come with just people clapping their hands. Leadership just doesn't come everybody looking up to you. It comes with enormous risk. One mistake, the same people will be throwing stones at you. Yes?
Yes.
So, one must understand, if you want to walk at a certain height, there is a risk of falling, always, no question. Crawling on the ground is the safest thing to do.
Sure.
Even walking is dangerous, you could trip and fall. Running is more dangerous, cycling becomes more dangerous, a motorcycle becomes much more dangerous. Flying an airplane is crazy, all right? So, I'm telling you, it's just 100 years since the Wright brothers flew. 100 years ago, what was considered to be the most dangerous thing to do? Today you said most of the time you're on a plane.
Yes.
When something that was considered to be dangerous became a norm of the day, it may take some amount of time, a certain amount of life, certain amount of experience and wisdom and so many things. Put together, this becomes a possibility. So if you're captaining a large ship, you can't risk the entire ship every time you want to do something. So if you want to take risk-taking, there'll be some crazies. There'll be some crazies anyway, everywhere. You got to put them in a small boat and throw them out into the sea. See what happens. If they make it, then maybe we can direct the ship in that direction. If you take the whole ship in that direction straight away with all the people and everything involved, that could be a disaster. So, there are many ways of doing it, there's no particular way.
Sure.
But this is building up like an ideology, risk-takers and non-risk-takers. I think it's a very unhealthy thing. Risk-taking is not for fun. You take a risk because you clearly see that you're able to do something in a brief amount of time, which would take 100 years for others to do. That's the whole idea. The reason for a longer stride is so that you're ahead. You're able to do something ahead of others. If you want to do something ahead of others, first of all, you must be able to see ahead of others, isn't it? So insight is very, very important, that you are able to see something that others are not yet seeing. Only then you can take a step which everybody thinks is very risky, but you know it's just play. Okay?